you're practicing towards freedom. How is that understood? The sudden view, sudden methods, and sudden enlightenment presents a full course, a full path in which the ground of practice, the view, the methods of practice, silent illumination or Huatou, koan practice, and the result, the three are in perfect alignment, accordance with one another. So, what is that view? That's the most important part. And that's what I'll focus on today. So, in a sense, I would just talk about, using the analogy of food, I would just talk about the menu today. As for the actual tasting of the food, we welcome you to come to learn meditation. That was a 5-minute crash course. You learn the full 2-day version of it, or I don't know how many days that we divide here. As you learn all the stages of practice, the actual methods, get to practice, raise questions, and so on. But if you want to have the taste. Right? How many of you already got that taste of relaxation and kind of clarity before? Please raise your hand. A few of you? Okay. Right. So, tonight, just the menu. Right? And after you learn the meditation, you can go on retreats. 1-day retreat, 3-day retreat, 7-day retreat. At our headquarter monastery in New York, and sometimes visiting teachers like myself within the Dharma Talk lineage, we will lead retreats, right? Which we can directly experience. But tonight, just the menu. So the most important part for tonight is establishing the correct view. And that view is each and every one of you are free already. In fact, moment to moment, you're free. Those of you taking notes, you may be thinking, I'm free. Or you don't really know what to take down. Free, what do you mean free? So it's kind of waiting for the punchline. Why are we free? Right? Our mind, the natural flow of the mind, natural workings of the mind is without obstructions. Obstructions come when we get caught up with our thoughts. We have kind of conflicting thoughts, contradicting thoughts, different opinions, different judgments. Different ideas that we project onto the world. And when the world does not accord with our idea, we don't feel free. We feel quite frustrated, obstructed. But the natural state of the mind is free. That's the correct view. In fact, you may feel very sad. You may have slight depression. You may have anguish. You may have difficulties in your life. Even amidst these difficulties, you're free. Try to hold on to a thought for 5 minutes. Sadness, happy, anguish. Try to hold on for a whole day. You can't. Right? The natural flow of the mind is moment to moment to moment, instant by instant by instant. thoughts liberate themselves. Sadness, anguish, feel challenge, difficulty. Right? The natural state of your thought, the natural workings of your thought is free. They liberate themselves. They come and go like the passing clouds. We don't feel free when we go against this. When we try to hold on to the cloud. We want to retain it. We don't want it to change. We go against the flow, and it's not free. The true nature of our minds is what we call in Chan non-abiding, 无助. Moment to moment, it liberates itself. I often give this analogy of water. And those of you who came to yesterday's translation workshop will remember. Those of you who are not, will be something new. And those of you who have forgotten, this will be a reminder. The cup. The cup with water. You can put a lot of filth in it, a lot of dirt, or it could be clear, transparent to the bottom. But whether the glass of water is clean or dirty, the nature of water is unaffected. Nature of water is wetness. Wetness does not disappear. So if you make the water very dirty, you think, oh, it's disgusting. I don't want it. I want to get rid of it. I want to cleanse it, so on and so forth. You know, that water has never lost its true nature. The nature of wetness. The nature of our minds are like this. Each and every one of us. Even amidst vexations, anguish, frustration, our true nature is never lost. We just have to recognize it. At the moment when we can truly recognize this, not on an intellectual level, on an emotional level, the level of our whole being, directly experience this freedom. That's enlightenment. So it's not to be enlightened to something outside of us, of ourselves, but it's to recognize who we are and the true nature of our minds. For this reason, in Buddhism, there is something called divides practice into two types generally. The path of recognition versus the path of transformation. Buddhism can be generally divided into these two camps. The path of transformation is that all the different practices of transforming anger into, compassion, maybe, transforming greed into generosity, and all of these methods, techniques to help us navigate through daily life. All of these methods that we can use. The Buddha Dharma has many different methods, things to reflect on, right? And things to kind of actually apply, use. It's the path of transformation. Chan focuses on something different. But it's not in contradiction to path of transformation. It's called the path of recognition. Within Buddhism, in different schools, different sects, Tibetan Buddhism, the whole of East Asian Buddhism, Southeast Asian Buddhism, they may not call it the path of recognition. They may call it something else. But the basic purpose is the same. Path of recognition is to recognize the intrinsic freedom, the actual workings of the mind, the actual freedom of the mind, the natural free flow of the mind, amidst vexations, the filth in the glass of water, or glass of water with clear water, transparent. Whether it's dirty, filthy, or clean, recognize the true nature of water. In terms of water, is wetness. In terms of our mind, is freedom, which we call, in Chan, Buddha nature, 佛性. So, in Buddhism, there are these two paths. In Chan, it is of primary importance to first establish this view, then engage in practice. So the type of karma, the type of kind of karmic seeds that you plant through your actions of body, speech, and mind in your practice, it's actually bringing you closer and closer to the actual fruit, result of practice. In the very beginning, when you aim to shoot at the target, you're shooting right at the nature of mind. You may not be able to reach it, but each action, every period of meditation that you do, the attitude that you cultivate in meditation, the method that you use in meditation, the method that you use in interaction with other people, all of these are reined in to bring it to the path of liberation. What do I mean by that? In Chan, when we meditate, the principle is do not grasp, do not reject wandering thoughts, vexations. Because if you grasp, if you try to get rid of them, reject, you're actually cultivating the very culprit that causes the mind to be agitated. Grasping and rejecting are the very problem reason why the mind is agitated. Right? Trying to get rid of things. It's like the water is already not clear. You use your hand to kind of pacify it, want to stop. Would the water stop? Would the water become clear, limpid? No. The water will be more agitated. Why? Because the roots of our daily problems, problems in our life, at the very fundamental level, very subtly working, is this tendency to get rid of something, to chase after something. That lies at the very root. That's the reason why we feel a sense of lack, dis-ease, and we have to fill this emptiness. We try to grab something. In the midst of that is you try to get rid of something, and you try to get something else. Buddhism talks about recognizing suffering in order to transcend it, in order to be free from it. You have to first recognize it. Right? Do you know what causes suffering? Of all kinds. Anyone? Desire, okay. Greed, okay. These are stock Buddhist text answers. And then Barnes & Noble's version of Buddha Dharma 101. I want you to give me an answer.